What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Creature Cast, the official Console Creatures podcast. I'm your host today, Steve Vegvari, and as always, I'm joined by my good pal Bobby. How the heck are you this week?
We are doing beautiful, Steve. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm a little tired today. It's been a long day, but you know what? I'm excited to talk about some games with you. Excited to get into some Elden Ring talk. That'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, what's new and exciting on your end? Anything?
I mean, just, we're coming off Canada Day. It's just one of those
Yep.
weeks where it's hard to get back because, like, you had that extra day and, time is precious. So, like, I took advantage of that, and it's just getting back on that horse. Like, I'm tired. And then, in the States, they have the 4th of July this weekend, and I'm seeing a lot of our, like, friends from all our PR friends and our journalist friends. They have the whole week off. And I'm like, I wish we did that here. Because, like, go big or go home, baby. Like, why? What are we celebrating one day for? It should be a week of Canada Day.
I mean, it should be just like a North American week where everyone takes it off, just, something to unify the US and Canada would be really nice. Really cool. Because I do agree. The fact that, we have a week off or a day off, and then like 3 days later, what feels like the world just begins to shut down afterwards. Because if you're covering news on the 4th, good luck, because nothing's going to happen that day.
I mean, I know you can.
That's how big July 4th is.
And look at our mailboxes. Like, I know mine's pretty quiet right now. Like, there's not much coming in. I'm getting some stuff, but I'm used to seeing everyone's face and their name show up, and it's like this week it's crickets. Everyone's got out of office messages, and they're celebrating. So, hey. Yeah,
I should just have gone to a cottage for the entire week. That's what I should have done. Just write it totally off. But here I am.
You still could.
I have time. You're right.
You still have time. They're not back till Monday. It's only Wednesday.
That is true.
Gives you 4 good days of R&R and more Shadow of the Erdtree.
That is true, and we will talk about Shadow of the Erdtree. But I guess by the time this comes out, it will be July 4th, Independence Day. So if you're listening to this from the grand US of A, happy Independence Day. And also, you guys didn't wish us happy Canada Day, but I'm going to be the better person.
Yeah, and you're the better person. Wish you guys and also, wish them well. But I hope they find. I wish their toast burns a little bit crispier than normal, because it's not fair. I want 4 or 5 days.
I mean, guess what? Come the election, their toast is going to be scorched. Oh, like they need all the well wishes right now.
They're going to be living in the shadow realm in November. That's where they're going.
Exactly. They're going to be living in the lands between shortly.
That's fine. That's fine. You know what? I'm happy. Yeah. You know what? I take back what I said. You guys, you made your bed.
Well, I mean, that is true. Yeah. But we also have a shit ton of problems up here in Canada as well. So we can't really be rubbing their face in anything right now. But that being said, let's talk about some games, because there's a game that you got to play that I'm very excited to hear more about. FragPunk, a game that was shown off during Summer Game Fest. Immediately when I saw it on the big screen there, we were both in LA, saw it in the auditorium, caught my eye. You got to play it. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I really, be honest with you, I had no interest in this game. There's just too many shooters out there. I mean, today, the first Descendant's out. You're playing X Defiant, but this game is from NetEase and Bad Guitar Studios, which is, like, I guess one of their subsidiaries, and it's like a 5 versus 5 hero shooter, and surprisingly, it's a lot of fun. Like, it really is deep from what I played. I only played maybe an hour, just because it was a long weekend. It was really hard to find games and stuff, but it's a card-based shooter, basically. So, like, you pair up with 5 people on your team, and then you pick a selection of cards that have different statistics. So you might have a card that heals your characters in the beginning of the round, or you curse your other team to have no healing factor in the same round, or you could have higher jump in a map, or they have no jump, or they turn into mummies where one hit kills them instantly, stuff like that. And it just opens up the way a shooter can act, right? Because I've never played a game where it's a shooter and a card game. So I mean, it's kind of like Slay the Spire meets Counter-Strike, if I could put it anyway. So if you like Counter-Strike, this is definitely a game you want to play, because it's kind of got like the hide and seek kind of thing. You kind of got to go find people. You got to, you know, hide in corners and be one of the last ones standing on the map. But it's really deep from what I was able to play. I mean, there were, I think, about 8 to 10 maps available, something like that. But we had basically everything available from the get-go. So like there were like 15 to 20 guns. I mean, the standard stuff. You got your assault rifles, you got your SMGs, you got your pistols. But you'd pick your character, and each one has their own unique ability. So like one guy might have like a bazooka, another one has like a healing shield that you can throw up to, you know, heal your team. It's like the standard stuff. But as I said, the biggest factor is the cards, which kind of really shake it up. So like every time you pick your card at the beginning of the match, you have up to 3 you can pick, and you just see your character snap the card, the effect comes to life, and then you see it on the map. So like I said, you can obviously, like you said, jump higher, you can do more damage with your bullets, and it's a lot more tactical in that sense. So I mean, it's something I hope people kind of pick up on, because as we said, the X-Defiant came, it's serviceable, but I feel like it has a lack of longevity to it. So I feel if all these developers are going to be making shooters, there's got to be something that diversifies it and, you know, makes it stand out against the sea of all these games coming out. And NetEase Games seems to have something that I feel like might be able to, you know, survive. It's a free-to-play game. You know, there's hundreds of cards you can pick that have a whole bunch of effects. And it comes down to what the kind of support is. Like, what are we going to see from this game post-launch? Because, you know, I mean, that is basically the lifeblood. Is what are the developers doing? Because, like, look at a game like oh god, what was it? There was one that came out a couple months ago that was a shoot that was popular, and then we all just kind of dumped it. No, sorry, Hyperscape. That was years ago. Hyperscape.
Oh, that was years and years ago for sure.
It was a couple years ago, but it was like Hyperscape. Like, I love that game. I previewed it. I played it for like the first 2 months, and then I just dropped it because there was nothing going on with that game. And then, I really hope this is not what happening, because it really feels like this. It's fast, it's fluid. The game plays well, it handles well, the guns are a lot of fun to use, all the components are there. So it's just now it's gonna you know, what is NetEase and Bad Guitar Studio gonna do to address any complaints from the closed beta? Outside of, you know, I had very minor things. I played on the Steam Deck, it played beautifully. Like, it immediately full graphic, like, it was, you know, top of the line. Frame rate was 60 frames easily. I had no hitches. It just played well in handheld mode, which is surprising, because not a lot of games just, you know, run on the Steam Deck like that. That's a brand new game. You have to, you know, tweak it here, you have to adjust this. But this game, like, out of the gate was like phenomenal on the Steam Deck. So like, that is something I want to, you know, bring up, because I know people love the Steam Deck. I'm sure the Lenovo Go and the ROGL are going to probably play well the same, but if you're you know, a handheld player, this is probably the way I recommend it. And I mean, overall, like I said, I didn't play much of it just because of the weekend, but the time I did spend with it, like, I was invested. Like, I was playing it, I was doing well, I was, you know, supporting my team. I just need to see, like, I guess the way the teams work. Like, I don't know if it's like supporting each other. I feel like it's probably gonna be like a hero. Like I said, it is a hero shooter, but I don't know the roles yet. That's the only thing I didn't have enough time to explain. I played with everyone for about a match, and that was basically it. And overall, great game. I hope they do an open beta and everyone plays it and kind of sees what I'm talking about, because I feel like it is something that's going to be, you know, something we talk about later this year. It is pretty good.
No, I've heard really positive things coming out of this you know, playtest, this closed beta. But I'm curious, did you get any sense of like the progression of how to unlock cards? Are there attachments for the weapons, stuff like that?
To be honest, no, I didn't. Like, I kind of just focused on playing the maps. But I mean, I feel like it's all there. Like, you can obviously buy weapons, you can buy lancers for your guns. You can buy emotes, so like it's all there. There's obviously it's a free to play game, so you're gonna have all that. I just don't know what the battle pass is going to be like, because there's a battle pass. I know there's a store, so there's obviously skins for your characters. I just don't know what like the grind is. I don't think it's I don't expect it to be as easy as some other games. I know I personally think I like Call of Duty's battle pass system. I mean, I unlock stuff all the time just by playing. But I would hope it's more like that rather than something like Suicide Squad or like I'm seeing like the First Descendant actually already having people complain about the battle pass because it takes forever to unlock stuff. So I hope they find a sweet spot, but like it's all there. Like you want obviously skins, you want gun skins. Like it is there. Like, I did see. I just didn't get involved in it just because I didn't care enough. It was a closed beta, so I was like I'd rather just play the game and see like what it's like. But
that's totally fair. Yeah, no, because I'm just trying to like wrap my head around, you know, it being a hero shooter, what the compositions are going to end up being. If it's going to be every player has the same set like deck of cards that they can use, and then it's all about, you know, strategizing with the rest of their team and be like, okay, I'm going to go for these 3 cards, you go for these. That way, in the middle of the match, I can pop this one that plays off yours, and then kind of like balance that out. Or if it's more randomized, or if it is, hey, we're going through. Progressing through the leveling system or whatever, the ladder, and unlocking new cards along the way, so you won't have access to them until you're higher level. Like that's the part of the game that I'm very curious about when it comes to like its full release.
Yeah, like the cards were like probably I think the biggest thing that keeps this game afloat, or you know, the focus is. I don't think it's the players, or the team. It's the cards, because like from what I remember and just what I was experiencing, you start each round with like a bunch, like you get 3 cards to pick from, so you pick 2. So I don't know if everyone's getting the same cards. I'm assuming not. It's probably all randomized, but like for example, you could do a shotgun card that does extra damage, extra fire damage, or you can do you have bullets that do chain reaction lightning damage. So if you're shooting like an assault rifle, it'll chain the bullet to hit everybody that's near that character you're shooting at. Or you can do, there's like a melee sword card that basically allows you to block bullets that are being shot at you by tapping like a button. So there is like all these different things you can do. I think that's where we're going to see the biggest shakeup in this game. It's not the characters or like how that works out. It's the cards. It's got to be what the cards feel like. And then it's really cool. I'm really happy with this game. I feel like it's something I want to be playing when it comes back. But yeah, I mean,
no, I was a little disappointed that I missed out on the this first wave of the beta, because just timing and stuff like that. But it's definitely a game that's on my radar ever since, you know, we saw it in the Summer Game Fest, or was it Xbox? It was one of them.
It was one of them, but yeah, like I said, it wasn't on my radar. Like I remember seeing the trailer. No, I think it was summer. It has to be Summer Game Fest, but I was watching it in theater with everyone, and everyone was like, "Oh, this looks good." But like to me, I was just like, I don't really care for this. But you know, I ate my words. Like it ended up being a really cool game. So you know what? And then to NetEase's, you know, reputation, like they're also doing Marvel Rivals. So I've heard good things about that. So I'm not going to knock them anymore. I'm going to just, you know, play the game and see what I think about it first. But yeah, overall, I really like this game. Play it if you haven't yet. Get into that closed beta, because I hope there's another one. If there isn't, keep an eye on the open beta. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, because I mean, we've got FragPunk, we've got Marvel Rivals, as you mentioned, got Concord on the way as well. The beta comes out in just a couple weeks, actually.
Yeah,
and then
that's the thing.
I mean, it's still competing with, you know, things like Call of Duty and Fortnite and stuff like that. So it's a very interesting time for competitive shooters.
That's the thing.
I'm wondering how it's all going to shake out.
And then you listed a couple of Valorant's coming to consoles. You still have you have the finals, you know, and I know people love the finals because it's a really good shooter. So it's like we're at a saturation point, so where I feel like people just have too many choices, and now we're gonna start seeing them kind of knock off, because I mean, there's no way these games can be supported when there's just so much to play and not enough time. So like I have a couple in mind that I feel will survive, but I mean, a lot of them I don't see them going past the next year, which is a shame because they are fun games. They are fun games, and that's, I think, probably the biggest growing pain of this industry is that there's just too many people making games, and we're seeing issues now where, you know, besides delays, where there's just 5 of the same game in the market these days. So it's like you can't have that. Right. So yeah, but whatever. You know, I don't want to be too negative about that. Overall, like I did have a lot of fun with this game. It is overall impressive.
No, that's great. And to your point about too many games, it's going to come down to great gameplay and interesting mechanics. And it seems like from what you're saying that FragPunk kind of has both of those. So as long as it can stay and remain sticky once it comes out, it's also free to play, which is another great perk in this kind of competitive shooter landscape. I think it at least has a fighting chance, but yeah, it is tough out there when especially you have every player or console PC under the sun already have Fortnite and Call of Duty installed. Then it just becomes this trickle down effect of like, okay, when I'm not playing Call of Duty, what's the competitive shooter that I'm going to be playing as my like side piece, so to speak? Is it going to be, you know, Concord, or is it going to be Marvel Rivals because it's a great IP based game and stuff like that? So a lot to consider.
And that's it. And I'm going back I started getting back into Destiny now. So like I'm going back and doing that, right? Because I mean, the last DLC just came out last month, and it's just been great to get back to Destiny because it plays so good. Like I forgot
so well.
Yeah, you forget how it's a Bungie game. So like you're getting the best shooter out there. I mean, outside of Call of Duty, Destiny is like the best shooter out there. And then it's just such a shame that, you know, like we said, there's just not enough time to enjoy everything. Like my rotation is my one story game that I'll be playing, like say Elden Ring, or even recently I was playing oh god, what was it? I was playing Grand Blue Fantasy just because I wanted to clear up my campaign, and like that's my main game. And then I'll switch to say like Call of Duty for a couple rounds, and I'll switch to Destiny to finish off. But how do you find time for all these free to play games? So like that's where I feel like I said that card mechanic will bring me back because it was so cool. I mean, it's just the ability to have all these power ups to warp the game. And I know there was a game like that a couple years ago where you're like, I guess it was like a survival game where you have like the audience voting on how to like shape the world around you. I remember what it was, but it was a cool game. It was an Xbox exclusive. I remember that. And like that was a cool idea. It's just a shame it never took off because that's what I want to see more. Is that innovation of a genre. It's a shame.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I'm glad you enjoyed the beta. I hope more people out there go and check it out when they're able to, because I do want to see more of these, you know, smaller like original IPs and stuff like that kind of try and at least break through. Whether or not they succeed, I still want to see it happen, and hopefully they find an audience. The other big game I think we both want to talk about, I know I certainly do, is Shadow of the Erdtree, the Elden Ring expansion, the DLC, the long-awaited one. It's finally out. People have been ranting and raving about it, good, the bad, the ugly. But Bobby, I know that you're a little earlier on than I am, a little less time put into it because of just timing and stuff like that. But yeah, talk to me about your experiences with Shadow of the Erdtree. I've got a lot to say, so I want to kick it off to you before I start ranting.
Yeah, I mean, I want to hear your rant, but yeah, for me, I'm only about 3 or 4 hours in. I fought the first boss, and that's basically it. I've spent more time just exploring because I mean, it's hard not to. Like you obviously know, like you get to the Scorched Ruins, like that's the first thing you see there, and then an hour later, I've gone east, I've gone north, I've gone west, and then I end up seeing the first boss. And my whole experience has just been finding the dungeons, clearing out all those. I don't know what they are. I guess they're they're zombies. I don't know if they're zombie. I don't know what these look like. Just like the cannon fodder enemies, and just
okay.
It's more of what I've loved about Elden Ring. It is that core experience. It's just. I don't want to say it's more refined. It's just more difficult, I guess. I think that's the way I can put it. It's harder because like my character is pretty stacked in the vanilla game. I'm level 270 something. I think we have the same armor, the Radon armor.
Yep.
I'm literally getting one-shotted by most enemies. It's crazy. So, I mean, it's great. I know I have a lot of collectibles to find. I have to find those shadow, whatever they are.
The shadow tree fragments.
Yeah, I have to find those because like I'm getting bodied by everything. So like my problem is finding. It's just been exploring. I know I probably should be balancing that with bosses, but I mean, it's hard to not look in a direction and want to see what's over there. So I've been doing that, dying more than I have died in the vanilla game because like I'm dying every so often. It's getting reacclimated with the controls. I forgot that the pouch was on the triangle button on PlayStation, so like I was going to the menu. It's small things like that because I was trying to call Torrent to get away from a boss, and I kept dying because I couldn't even call the pouch out. And then forgetting that you can't climb. So it's like I was trying to get away from enemies, hitting a wall. It's if I could record all the stuff that's been happening to me, I could, but it's embarrassing how out of touch I am with this game because I spent over 350 hours playing it on PC and PlayStation, and I feel like I've never played this game before in my life because it feels brand new. Everything about it feels brand new.
Yeah.
It's insane the scope of this realm and what FromSoft has done when they launched Armored Core last year. Like that's 2 huge games within a year, and like it's insane. It's insane, like just the scope of everything available. And I feel no one has seen everything in this game yet, and it's been out for a couple of weeks now. But I'm seeing people post something that they've discovered like 100 hours in that no one's seen yet. So like it doesn't feel like an expansion. It feels like a full new game, and that's insane. Other than that, like I don't have much. I'm trying to relearn my character and then find a proper build because there are all these new weapons. I've got a couple of them. I don't know how to use any of them, so I'm going to have to relearn everything because my bread and butter was the bleed katana and a poison katana, and that killed everything in the base game. Now it's doing nothing. Yeah. So I know everyone's doing like the nunchakus. I know there's like a new thrusting shield that apparently is like the most overpowered weapon in this game, so I'm going to try and find that and break the game. That's my goal.
Yeah,
my goal is just to break this game.
Yeah, do it before they nerf it to shit. Same with the poison bottles. I've been seeing a lot about the new like throwable poison bottles that people are just dummying bosses with that. No, but I totally understand that. I think the general sentiment lies somewhere around your experience as well. Like people were not really sure exactly what they were getting themselves into with this DLC, despite Miyazaki and his team kind of being as transparent as they could be leading into this. My experience totally different from yours, and for good and bad, because well, first off, I was away when it first launched, and what ended up happening was when I played the original game, I went hard, just as you did. I think I put in close to 200 hours, got to level around 200, did all the new game plus, all the endings, got all the achievements. I put it away, and I was like, listen, I'm good now. I'm going to come back when the expansion comes out. I don't really need any more of this game. Got everything. I tapped it dry. And in the lead up to this, they said, okay, well, you need to have a run where you have defeated Radon and Moog. And I was cool. Well, I got to the final boss of my new game plus 3 or whatever.
Yeah,
I know that I defeated both of those. What I didn't anticipate was that when I defeated the final boss, I let the credits roll right into New Game Plus 4. So here I am, naive, coming back from LA. I was like, listen, I got a full weekend. Woohoo, here we go. Elden Ring time, baby. Shadow of the Erdtree. I loaded up. I'm at the very original spot that I just like the game starts. And I was like, fuck me in the ass. Like, I am so done right now. And yeah, so the good thing is, the great thing about that is that I got to just basically reacclimate myself to this entire game, go through it. Thankfully, at level 200, the power scaling of your character versus the bosses at that point pretty high. So I was just, rapid fire going through the bosses, mainline my way both to Radon and then to Moog. easy to like. It probably took me about like 3-4 hours to power push my way through, and then finally, yes, I got into the Shadow of the Erdtree content, and yeah, now at this point, I'm about 2/3 of the way through, maybe even like 3/4. I'm on the tail end. I know that I've wrapped up the majority of the side quests. I've wrapped up the majority of the lesser bosses, the kind of like the dungeon bosses and stuff like that. Fully explored the map for the most part. There's like one chunk at the tippy top that I still haven't been to, and then I know for a fact that I have 3 of the more difficult bosses really waiting for me.
Yep.
That being said, like I am blown away by this game. Like you said, this is not even like an expansion in my eyes. This is Elden Ring 2. There's so much thought and attention to detail, verticality that I just was not expecting. I'm honestly comparing this to like a Tears of the Kingdom to what Breath of the Wild was to the original Elden Ring. Like the fact that there are so many like fortresses and that just keep going up, 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 up. Like the Shadow Keep is one of the most like expansive areas I think in Elden Ring period.
Any From game, like they feel so unique. I've seen it just because I've been watching some playthroughs, and it's insane. Like my experience is different from the playthroughs I've seen, and that's what I love about this game. So like even like you said, your experience is different from mine, but it's just rewarding watching someone else get to a point where they're succeeding in this game, because like that is the magic of this game, is just learning to overcome this world. It's crazy. It's beautiful. It's probably one of my sorry, and I'm on a tangent, but like this is like the best fantasy game I've ever played in my life. There is nothing like out there like this. I don't think there will ever be anything like this out there, and it is such a special experience. And that's kind of
no, absolutely. And I wholeheartedly agree with you that it's just one of those once in a lifetime experiences that I am now getting a second time. I never thought I would. I thought Elden Ring was that experience. I thought it was, contained. It was just like a one-off. I would never experience it again. And here we are getting the same experience again. I'm so happy that I'm getting it. But I totally agree that some people are, getting sorry, my cat is just freaking out in the background. But like so many people are hitting that difficulty curve and everything. But what I love about Elden Ring is the fact that it has the reset, so that if I'm level 200, you're level 700. You're basically just showing up in the Shadow Realm, at the same power scale.
And it's crazy because like I know that this was always said. It's like don't feel like your character can survive, but that's what's happening. Like I'm getting destroyed. Like I was at a point in the vanilla game where nothing could touch me outside of maybe 1 or 2 bosses. Nothing was able to stop me. I could basically run from start to finish without any sweat. And then this game here, no, everything is destroying me, and it's just like, wow. I don't know how they did it. I would love to see their process, because like it's so crazy that they were able to figure out a way to acclimate every character that's ever created, and we're all on solid even ground at the start. Like that's crazy. So kudos to
I totally agree. It's actually such a smart idea, so that everyone across the board can come in and just kind of be at the same spot. That way, like if I put in 50 hours and you put in like 300, 400, we're all just experiencing it at the same point. Now, that being said, I think the game could do a little bit better of a job explaining like the Shadow Tree or Shadow Tree, however you want to pronounce it, the fragments, what they mean, because really I do think that it is kind of a detriment to the player base of like, oh, well, I don't know how the power scaling even works, how that fluctuates, and how important it is to go out, seek those, and then tackle a boss afterwards.
That's what I think is probably the biggest detriment to this game, is just no one knew that what the God, what are they? The shadow, whatever they are, the scale or whatever it is, like the item, like that's how you level up. That's the leveling system in this game. All the souls, the runes you're collecting, they mean nothing. They mean nothing because you're finding runes in the levels, but they really just give you more vigor or whatever your stats are, but it's those actual items that you need to level up and fight the bosses on uneven ground. It's crazy. But yeah,
and even the ashes as well, like getting the new version of the ashes to level those up as well to make those powerful, like the mimic tier ash as well. I just commend Miyazaki and his team for coming up with a creative way to do that and integrating it and making it seem balanced. But again, I do unfortunately understand that some people might be turned off by that, but it's unfortunate that some of the player base is so turned off that they now go back and like refund the game and stuff like that. And it's just the difficulty scaling, I guess, is just too much for them.
I mean,
I don't know.
To each their own, but like we're in 2024. All you have to do is head online and, you know, ask a question and someone will give you the golden path to get where you need to go. So like that's what I love about stuff like Reddit. Like if you go to the Elden Ring Reddit, they're very helpful there. I mean, that's from the last couple of times. I remember when I was looking for stuff, I found it there, and people were very kind, and you know, they showed me how they get to things, or they would like give me their ID, and they would just help me fight a boss. And like that's kind of the thing I want more people to understand is that you just have to ask for help, and someone will help you in this game. That's what I've been my experience at least. Like I've always had some stranger help me. So
yeah, it's either the Reddit or my TikTok feed. I'm seeing so many different builds now, or even the thrusting shield that you brought up. Like I was exposed to that just by TikTok, and I was like, hold up, this is awesome. I need to go find it now. I need to go check it out, respec my character, see if I can have fun with it, even for a boss or two, and see how much of a cheese it is. I just want to try it out.
That's the fun of it, and I will never understand anyone who complains about using something that cheapens the game, because like legitimately it's there for a reason. It's there to be used. So like I've always used the mimic tier. I don't care what anybody says. It's saved my ass more than enough times where I don't care. It's such a great item. Or like the ashes of the wolves, where like legitimately it will help me stop any hordes coming at me, because they surround me and they take care of like the cannon fodder. It's just stuff like that. It boggles my mind that you're expected to play this a certain way when all these tools are there to lighten the load for you or manage a crowd better. So yeah,
and that's just it. I've never understood the complaint of like, oh well, you have to just avoid all of that to experience the game fully. I'm like, well, no, you have the Ashes of War, you have the mimic tier and everything like. It's all there for a purpose. Why not take advantage of it? Because then it seems silly that I'm only experiencing like a third of the mechanics and a third of the game. But yeah, I don't know. Just aside from the difficulty, I'm just astonished by some of the level design. One thing I wanted to go back to was like, there are moments in this game and just some of the level design, the creativity of some of the areas, the POIs and everything that give me that same feeling of when you are in Elden Ring. And I'm blanking on the name, but like when you go down the elevator into like the underworld and you see like the purple stars and like the purple sky with the stars and everything. And you're like, what? There's an entire map under here. There are moments like that in Shadow of the Erdtree. And I'm like, holy hell, did they go hard on some of this?
Yeah, it's stuff like that. Like there's just, I think my biggest takeaway is like it's just mind blowing what these developers have been able to do in a year and a half or 2 years, whatever it is. But
right,
it's crazy. The world it's easily the most unique world I've ever experienced, and I'm saddened that we're not going to get something like this from them for a while. Because I don't know what their next game is. We'll see.
No, I was just going to ask which. Just to clarify, which boss did you get to?
Oh god, I can't remember. It's so I fought the big thing, the walking, whatever it was, like that fire thing. I forget the name of it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, and there was one after that. I can't remember what it was. I honestly need to get better with the names. But like I'm maybe like 2 bosses in. Let me pull up the boss. I actually have to look it up.
Yeah, no, the only reason I ask is because there's a boss that, in my opinion, has one of the coolest designs and is I think widely considered one of the more difficult bosses to like open up the DLC, and that's Rolana, who has like the magic sword and the fire sword. Some of the coolest design that I think I've seen from an Elden Ring boss so far, and just to come out swinging with that one. At least that was one of the first ones that I tackled, just in the order that I was going through the map and everything. But it gave me a run for my money. Yeah, that was the one that, you know, hours in, I think this is the one that really had me hit my head against the wall for a night or two, and then I finally got over that. At this point, though, I don't think I've really struggled with any one particular boss all that much. Definitely died many times. Many. I have not defeated a furnace golem yet. That's the big fire dudes that you've talked about.
Man, I spam.
I just haven't gone out of my way to.
Torrent is like the best thing. You can't fight that thing without Torrent.
Oh yeah.
I saw a video online, and that's the only reason I beat it is because I saw what they did, and they spammed Torrent and the way they attacked this thing. And I used a lot of potions. Like that was my saving grace.
That's it. Yeah.
I pumped all. I think I had like 15 potions. I swapped everything to the potions just because of that, and it saved me. I just cheaped out. But no, I fought that, and then I got to the dancing lion. I think it was.
Oh, the divine lion. Yeah.
That's the only one. That's where I got destroyed. So I was like, well, I gotta find more the seeds or whatever they are.
Yep.
But that's it. I want more time. Like I said, my biggest thing is the exploration. The bosses, they're there when I want them to do. I love this world. That's more I've always wanted, and that's where most of my playthrough was, is just getting to every location, scouring everything, looking in the corners, and I love it. Yeah, I'll get there. I know that they're going to be there when I'm ready for them. I did notice, though, that a lot of people are summoning people to fight together, and they're struggling. That's what I've seen online.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Apparently, even with this game, like I know in Vanilla Elden Ring, I had no problem summoning people, and we were able to fight everything together. This game, no. I'm seeing people struggle in online because I don't know if it takes into account how many of the blessings you'll both have, or if it, whatever it is in the background. But like, I feel like people are not adequately prepared for the bosses, and they're struggling because of it. And it's just because they don't have those blessings.
Right. Yeah. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I wonder what the back end of that, because I know that now enemies scaled to you personally. So I wonder what that means if I go into your game or vice versa. If it's still if damage still scales to me, or if it scales to you.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, I've never really thought about that.
But I'm just seeing a lot of people online struggling with it, and I'm happy because it's just like you have to relearn that. You have to relearn to ride your bike. Basically, it's just getting to that feel. That's it. But it feels good to get back on that bike. I know that's my biggest takeaway. It's just great to be back in this world. It's just like I didn't know how much I missed it till I loaded up the game last week, and I was like, "Whoa!" Just hearing that music at the start.
Everything. Yeah, I was about to say the music. Oh my goodness! Like as soon as like some of the boss fight music, and like even just existing in the overworld and just riding Torrent from point A to point B, it's just there's so much great music. There's so much great atmosphere. One of my favorite areas, and I won't go into like too much detail. They just baked in an entire horror game into one section of the map, and it's like legitimately terrifying. I was like, holy hell, these guys really know how to make like not even just like, a gothic game like Bloodborne or even Elden Ring to some regard, but like this is like a legit horror game, and it's so cool. Yeah, it's just it comes out of left field.
And that's exactly it. This is nothing like the vanilla game. This is such a distinct dual side of the coin, maybe. Could we say that? I mean, one's heads, one's tails.
Sure.
But yeah, overall, like, damn, I know that it's not going to be my game of the year just because Rebirth launched this year. But if it didn't, I feel like this is probably what my game of the year would be.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still not done, but Yeah, I kind of echo that sentiment, whereas the quality there is so good. I mean, justifiably so, I would hope so, because it is a premium price piece of DLC. I don't think it's hard to even think back to any other like expansions or DLCs that are as expensive as Shadow of the Erdtree. But that being said, I think From Software earned every penny of it. They put so much love and craftsmanship into this, and really did come out swinging. Of like, I mean, I'm interested to get past, you know, the final boss and kind of let everything sink in to really put it toe to toe up against like the old Hunters expansion for Bloodborne. But
that was probably, yeah. You know what? Outside of this expansion, that was probably my favorite one out of all of, like, the FromSoft games. The old Hunters was
me too. Yes, same.
It was so unique.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm really excited to know like how I'm going to feel about this coming out of it, because yeah, just in terms of its scaling and its depth, I knee-jerk reaction, I think that this is a better piece of DLC, but I do want to know what I'm going to feel like coming out of it and letting it all sink in. But otherwise, I'm having an absolute blast with this. Like you said, this is just a world I could exist in perpetuity. Like, From Software could just support Elden Ring for the rest of my life, and I think I would be here for it.
And that's the thing. Like, they have, I mean, I don't even think they have. There is that unique opportunity where they could do it. I would play this live service game if this was Elden Ring, a live service version. Like, the bones are there. It's literally there. Like, the world is right for that. But whatever. I mean, you know what? At the same time, I don't want to have it be tarnished for what it is, because it's at the same time like the most unique game I've played in like 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, either way,
yeah.
I mean, it's Elden Ring. Like, really, what more can we say? Everyone who has played this game knows what it's about. Anyone who hasn't played this game should give it a chance. Not really to miss out on what we're talking about, but just to get a taste of it and see what, you know, why it's so praised for what it is. Don't let I would say just don't let the hurdle of its difficulty push you away. Like, it is a manageable game, because it is a game where you invite other people to help fight bosses with you and get through the hurdles, because that's the way the game was created, where you learn from other people who play with you. You see what they do. I think
that's the big thing. Is I think the narrative of Elden Ring being too difficult, or Shadow of the Erdtree being too difficult, and people returning the game and complaining and stuff like that, I think isn't justifying the game, because I do think that this game is as accessible of an action game as From Software has ever made. I think that it is doable. I think it elicits you to go out, explore, level yourself up, find, you know, fragments, and the other one, I can't remember the specific name of it, to scale your character up, and that way when you get to the bosses, you have a better time. And yeah, like you said, use summons, use your mimic tier to help you along the way, because otherwise, yeah, you might just be banging your head against the wall for no reason, and depriving yourself of core mechanics that make the game super fun.
Like, the mimic tier is such a great idea. Like, I once I learned it was in the first game, or the vanilla game, I stuck with it once I got it through the entire game. It saved me so many times. It's just small things like that. It brings the experience to a more manageable, comfortable level, and that like, what's wrong with that? So yeah. Overall,
totally. Yep, same here. I'm looking forward to wrapping up my time with it. Maybe by next week I'll have some final thoughts to throw out, but hopefully sooner than later I can put a nice bow on top of Elden Ring and say goodbye to it. I'm going to say this, though. From Software, what the fuck? No achievements or trophies? What are we doing?
Yeah, well,
what are we doing here?
I'm okay with that, just because I got burned, so I'm okay with that. And
what do you mean you got burned? What happened?
Well, I mean, I platinumed the game, but it didn't give me the platinum. Basically, what happened was I fought every boss. I got all the spells. I got all the weapons, and then it locked me out at the ending where I wanted to see the different endings. But it does this thing in the vanilla game where it doesn't warn you you're about to see the ending. So I wanted to. If I had known, I would have saved my file at that point, uploaded to the cloud, and then done the first ending. So
got it.
I basically platinum game. I don't care what anybody says. I did everything but see all the endings in one playthrough. And that's what really burned me, is because I did all that and then it just didn't say, hey, by the way, you've reached the point of no return. Save your game. That's all I wanted. Just a warning to save your game.
Yeah.
And yeah. So with that, sucks to be you guys for no achievements. I know you want your achievements, but no.
I do.
I don't get my achievements. You don't get your achievements, is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Absolutely not. That's not
all
fair.
right. I can't argue with that. I'll give you that. That is sucky.
It was just like the most. It was like finding out that Santa wasn't real. It was just like, what do you mean I can't finish the game properly? What do you mean I can't see the other endings? Nope, you got to start the game and do all this again. And I'm like, no, I refuse.
Yeah, that's a tough one for sure. So I don't blame you on that. Yeah, I was just a little thrown off that yeah, you could go the entire DLC and not have like a lick of proof that you beat it. It's just a wild concept to me.
I don't know.
Would be like, oh yeah, I beat it all.
I mean, I wish we knew why they did it, but at the same time, I don't really care because I mean, really.
So I aside from the old hunters, they never do additional trophies or achievements for their DLC. So
I thought they did. I honestly can't remember it because I
no, all the DLC is for like Dark Souls. Never had an additional achievements and trophies, which is a bummer. Yeah. So I do wonder if that was like a mandate from PlayStation for Bloodborne, where they're like, okay, if you're going to do an expansion, give us some more trophies.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? That's fine. I got those ones, so that's all I care about. But no, that's weird. Honestly, that's really weird. But okay, well, FromSoft, get your stuff together. This is not Dark Souls. You should have just put them in.
You should have, even though literally 2 seconds ago you said that they shouldn't. But thank you for coming around on my side.
I'm just supporting you in my. I don't know what are we gonna call? What are we gonna call my
solidarity?
No, it's not solidarity. It's more like I want to support you. Not no. Okay, you know what? I'll give it to you. I'm just trying to. I'm fighting you on this because it's just it chapped my ass really badly to the point where I chapped my ass. It's just. No amount of Vaseline's gonna save me on this one. It really burned.
No, not that one. No. And I do, honestly, that really sucks. And maybe from software, you could hook my boy up with his platinum because he deserves it.
I really want that. This is the first time I platinum any of the games, and it's just like I wanted it, and then they were like, "Nope, rugs out."
Nope, sorry.
So that's fine. That's fine. I'll suffer in perpetuity. Yeah. It's fine.
It's fine. Bobby, as we wrap up this week's episode, I just want to call out two things. We've been on a tear of some pretty great content. We got the Astro Boy preview up last week. We invited
Astrobot. So
thank you.
Astrobot. I got it confused too because I also too love Astro Boy, which is a good movie.
Yeah, who doesn't? Who doesn't? Astrobot, thank you for that. Yeah, we invited our friend of the show, Riley Little, on. I encourage people to go check that out. We played an hour of it each, and yeah, had a really great time. Highly recommend people go check out that episode. I had a really great conversation. And then the week before, we had the fine folks from Obsidian Entertainment on to talk about Avowed. Months before Avowed's release. Great to hear from Gary Patel and Gabe Paramo on that. But yeah, I just wanted to call out those two specific episodes because I think they were really fun to do and to get out there. But Bobby, for all other pieces of content like the website, where can people keep up with the Console Creatures and yourself as well?
Yeah, you can find us at consolecreatures.com. You can find me on Twitter at bpashalitas. Go to the link tree. Everything's there. from our socials to our podcast to whatever you want. It's there.
Awesome. And as for me, you can follow me across the internet at svigvari, and we'll be back next week with a brand new episode. We appreciate you checking out our content, keeping up with us, and until then, we'll see you. Bye.
Bye-bye.